On July 4th, 2026, America will celebrate 250 years of independence. Unless we act now, it will be the last anniversary that word means anything. In 1776, our founders declared freedom from a king who, ruled by divine right, not consent of the governed, sent armies to foreign lands for crown enrichment, criminalized dissent as treason, and taxed colonists to fund wars they opposed. Serve the interests of empire over the people. In 2026, we serve a different empire. Not British, Israeli. And unlike our ancestors who fought back, we've been trained to police ourselves, terrified that speaking truth will get us labeled anti Semitic, career destroyed, socially exiled. We've become prisoners of a slur, enforcing our own subjugation while our Constitution burns. This ends now, or it ends us. Now, the timeline we're not allowed to discuss here begins in November 22nd, 1963. President John F. Kennedy assassinated after refusing to allow Israel's nuclear program and threatening to dismantle the CIA, the last president to truly challenge the emerging power structure. 1976, Venezuela nationalizes oil. Pentagon begins planning for eventual resource seizure. 2001, Pentagon memo surfaces. 7 countries in 5 years. Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Iran. Wesley Clark reveals the plan. Somalia was always on the list. Now, from 2003 to 2011, Iraq and Libya were destroyed under false pretenses, oil secured, and democracy exported at gunpoint. 2024, IPAC spends 100 million plus buying every seat in Congress. Both parties captured. December 26, 2025, Israel recognizes Somaliland. Boston Consulting Group's Palestinian relocation plan activates. Same day, Minnesota's Somali fraud video goes viral and reaches 135 million views, with anti-Muslim propaganda that provides cover. January 2026, Venezuela invaded. Oil seized. Maduro captured without congressional approval. Trump said, "We will run Venezuela." H.R. 6090 is in effect, criticizing Israel now legally discrimination. First Amendment is dead. 50 plus years. This didn't happen overnight. It happened while we were trained to look away, terrified of being called names. Now, the choice we have for 2028, well, if J.D. Vance becomes president in 2028, the American Republic ends. Not metaphorically, literally. Vance is Peter Thiel's creation. 15 plus million invested in buying a senator who became vice president who will become president. Thiel's Palantir provides surveillance infrastructure to the NSA, CIA, and ICE. Thiel's ideology is explicit. Democracy has failed, and technocracy must replace it. Now, with Vance in power and H.R. 6090 criminalizing dissent as anti-Semitism, you will watch Palantir surveillance tracking every anti-Semitic statement, criticism of Israel, and social credit systems determining employment, travel, and banking access. Legal persecution of journalists, activists, citizens under discrimination laws, continued wars for Israeli expansion, and Iran is next on Wesley Clark's list. Your children conscripted to die for Somaliland military bases and Venezuelan oil fields. Constitutional America memory hold as problematic and anti-Semitic. And by the way, if you didn't know already, Israel wants Somaliland and sold it to Israel. Well, Israel bought Somaliland from Somalia elites, and that is why every bit of that money that goes back to the Somali elites, it was promised by Israel. It has been going on since George Bush was president. All sources at mordo.ai. So you think you're a citizen now. Under UCC, or the Uniform Commercial Code that every state goes by, you're already classified as a corporate asset. a debt instrument securing federal bonds. Your birth certificate is a security. Your labor is collateral. If Vance takes power, you won't even have the legal fiction of citizenship. You'll be a data point in Palantir's system, monitored for compliance, flagged for wrong think, economically disappeared if you question Israel's policy. Your grandchildren, they won't be Americans. They'll be debt slaves exported to creditor nations when the empire collapses under the weight of serving foreign interests instead of its own people. This is not hyperbole. This is not trajectory. Now, what we're afraid of and why that's the point. It's anti-Semitism. That's the word that stops you from sharing this article, from demanding answers, from calling your representative. Now, let's be clear what this word means now. Criticizing AIPAC's $100 million purchase of Congress, anti-Semitism. Questioning Israel's recognition of Somaliland for military bases, anti-Semitism. Noting Boston Consulting Group modeled Palestinian ethnic cleansing, anti-Semitism. Asking why Minnesota fraud went viral the same day as Somaliland recognition, anti-Semitism. Opposing illegal invasion of Venezuela for oil, anti-Semitism, somehow. Defending the First Amendment against H.R. 6090, anti-Semitism. Or as Benjamin Netanyahu says himself, World War Jew. Ridiculous. They want you afraid. That's the entire system. Not afraid of prison, that comes later, but afraid of social death, career ruin, being cast out, because they know Americans will endure tyranny if the alternative is being called a name. Now, our founders faced actual death, torture, their families murdered, their homes burned. They signed the Declaration knowing they'd hang if they lost. We're afraid of Twitter ratios and HR complaints. Let me tell you what's actually anti-Semitic. Allowing Netanyahu to commit genocide while claiming to speak for all Jews. The majority of young American Jews oppose Israeli policy. Holocaust survivors have condemned Gaza as genocide in the past. Jewish Voice for Peace, if not now, Jews for Ceasefire, those are actual Jews and they're begging for the world to stop conflating Zionism with Judaism. Zionism is a political ideology, like communism, like fascism, like Nazism. It can be opposed, critiqued, resisted without attacking a religious group. Now, H.R. 6090 deliberately conflates the two, so criticism of a government's actions get treated as religious bigotry. That's not protecting Jews, that's weaponizing them as human shields for war crimes. Now, refusing to be weaponized by this linguistic trick isn't anti-Semitism, it's actually moral clarity. The strategic reality they don't want you to know happens to be that Israel needs America. America does not, I repeat, not need Israel. We provide $3.8 billion annually in military aid, and the real number's much higher with emergency packages. A UN Security Council veto protecting them from consequences, military technology, intelligence sharing, diplomatic cover, they get all that from us. $100 million plus in IPAC spending to ensure congressional obedience. Now they provide intelligence sharing, which is often false. See Iraq WMDs for more. Strategic ally that spies on us constantly. See Jonathan Pollard. Middle East stability. They've destabilized the entire region. Now without American backing, Israel cannot maintain military superiority over neighbors, expand into Somaliland, Somalia, or the Sudan, complete ethnic cleansing of Gaza, and finish it off over in Somaliland because that's where they shipped most of the people that they didn't cleanse already. Now, they will not survive economically under international sanctions or win a conventional war if Arab states unite against them. Russia and China will not ally with Israel against America. Why would they? China wants Taiwan. Supporting American-Israeli territorial expansion undermines that claim. China wants Taiwan. Supporting Israeli territorial expansion undermines that claim. Russia wants Ukraine. Same problem. Both oppose U.S. hegemony, but no, Israel is a U.S. proxy and not an independent power. Neither has religious or ideological stake in Zionism, but both would love to see America abandon Israel and stop Middle East interventions that threaten their interests. World War III threat, it's all a bluff. Now, the real calculation. If America stands down, Israel stands down because they have no choice unless they're crazy enough to launch that nuke they stole from us. But all we have to do, cut the money. All of it. Heck, they might not even be able to fund launching that nuke. And, well, let's be real. They've had plenty of money to get it ready, but we have to cut the money, all of it. Let the UN vote. Stop using our veto to protect war crimes. Prosecute IPAC under FARA. They operate as foreign agents. Repeat HR 6090 and restore the First Amendment. Primary every IPAC funded representative in both parties. Do this and watch. Gaza ceasefire within weeks, Somaliland recognition withdrawn, Palestinian relocation plans abandoned, Venezuela policy revisited, and the constitutional governance restored. The Western world follows American leadership. It always has. If we stop enabling Israeli expansion, Europe stops, Canada stops, Australia stops, the entire architecture collapses. We hold all the cards, we're just too afraid to play them. The souls of Somaliland and the souls of our children. Right now, Somali people are watching America and Israel plan their displacement, not hypothetically. Boston Consulting Group literally modeled this. They're watching Palestinians slowly erased from Gaza, knowing they're next. They're watching Minnesota Somalis demonized as criminals to soften public opinion for what's coming. They're watching us choose apathy. Now, if you don't know what's going on in Somalia, Israel purchased Somaliland from the Somalian elites. And all the fraud going on, that's just paying Somaliland or Somalian elites for Somaliland. Paying them for Israel off the sweat of our own backs. Look it up. Sources are all at mordo.ai also. The world is watching us choose apathy. In 1940s, the world watched European Jews loaded onto trains and did nothing. Not our problem, too complicated, what can we do? We now know how that story ends. Now we're the Germans in that story, the ones who didn't know what the camps were for, who were just following orders, who didn't want trouble. Except we do know. The evidence is public. Boston Consulting Group's transfer model, Trump's voluntary relocation proposal, $5,000 per person, Wesley Clark's Pentagon memo, Somalia on the target list since 2001. Yeah, Bush and every president since have been looking the other way when it comes to the Somalian fraud. Why do you think they're not doing anything serious about it? They're just dividing the public more. Israeli Somaliland recognition for military bases. And the timing, which is same day as the Minnesota propaganda blitz. We know. We know. So when Somali bones build Israel's new Holy Land, when Palestinian families are scattered across East Africa to die in refugee camps, when American soldiers patrol Berbera for oil tanker routes, we can't say that we did not know. But this isn't just about them. It's about our children. Because if we don't stop this now, if we let Vance take power in 2028, if we let Palantir IPAC Zionist Nexus complete its takeover, your grandchildren will be the debt slaves. I'm not joking. They'll be conscripted to die in Iran, which is next on Wesley Clark's list, working 3 jobs to service Chinese bonds while their labor gets exported, living under social credit surveillance that makes China's system look free. And it seems like children dying in Iran instead of grandchildren, if that comes to pass soon. They used to be just like America before he installed a dictator. Go figure. But your grandchildren, they'll ask what you did. When America died, when the Constitution became decorative, when foreign lobby money purchased the government completely, what will you tell them? That you were afraid of being called anti Semitic? That you didn't want to lose your job? That it seemed too complicated? Or will you tell them you stood? Imagine bringing Washington, Jefferson, Adams, and Franklin forward to 2026 and showing them that Congress members receiving 650,000 plus from a foreign lobby, the president invading sovereign nations without congressional approval, free speech criminalized if it criticizes a foreign government, citizens afraid to speak truth because they might lose employment, tax dollars funding genocide while infrastructure crumbles, military deployed for foreign expansion while borders remain open, surveillance state monitoring every communication, birth certificates treated as corporate securities. They'd call for revolution immediately. Not because things are hard, but because we've surrendered everything that they died to create. They faced the most powerful empire on earth with muskets and willpower. We only face a lobby with checkbooks, and we've surrendered without firing a shot. Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death. We chose give me comfort, and I'll ignore tyranny. Thomas Jefferson, the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. We're letting the tree die rather than face social disapproval. Benjamin Franklin, a republic, if you can keep it. We're giving it away for IPAC endorsements and media approval. Now here's what should be the 250th anniversary ultimatum. July 4th, 2026 is the last chance. Not because of arbitrary timing, because the symbolic weight matters. And also because primaries are coming up. Or midterms, I should say. Pardon me. If we reach 250 years of independence while Israeli lobby controls our government completely, our military invades for foreign interests, our government or our First Amendment is nullified, our citizens are too afraid to speak truth, and our children face debt slavery and foreign wars, then the Declaration of Independence was a lie. Not in 1776, now, retroactively. Because everything our ancestors fought for, every death at Valley Forge, Normandy, every sacrifice across 250 years was meaningless if we surrender it to avoid being called names. This is the test. Not whether we can win wars, not whether we can build technology, not whether we can create wealth, whether we can stay free, whether we have the courage that farmers in 1776 had when they faced the British Empire, whether we're worthy of what they built. Based on the current trajectory, we're not. If you're watching this, then you are the resistance. Not because you're special, because you're willing to look. Now immediately, I need you to share this video. Don't ask permission. Don't worry about being called anti-Semitic. They're counting on your silence. Call your representatives. Every single one. Demand repeal of H.R. 6090. IPAC prosecution under FARA. Congressional investigation of Venezuela invasion. Somaliland, Minnesota timing investigation. Cut all aid to Israel until Gaza ceasefire. Primary challenge every IPAC-funded representative. Both parties. Find candidates who will sign a pledge. No foreign lobby money, period. Organize locally. Town halls, county meetings, school boards. They can control D.C., but they can't control everywhere if we mobilize. Support whistleblowers. mordoAI's secure whistleblower submission portal has launched. If you have evidence, release it. November 2026. Vote out every IPAC-funded incumbent, every single one. No exceptions, no lesser evil. If they took the money, they're compromised. Now, beyond 2026, build a constitutional America First party. Not Trump's America First, which funds Israel and invades Venezuela and Greenland, coming to a country near you, maybe. Actual America First, constitutional governance. No foreign entanglements. Washington's farewell address as policy platform. Demand international investigation. ICC, UN, everybody. Venezuelan invasion, Somaliland recognition, Palestinian transfer plans. All documented war crimes. Economic boycott. BDS works. That's why they criminalized it. Start anyway. Arrest us all. See what happens when millions refuse compliance. Prepare for backlash. They will call you anti Semitic, racist, extremist, terrorist. Expect it, embrace it. It means you're over the target. It means you're a patriot. Now, the truth that they fear most. We outnumber them by millions. IPAC has money. We have numbers. They have Congress. We have the people. They have media. We have truth. The entire structure requires our compliance, our fear, our silence. The moment we stop giving it, the moment critical mass refuses to comply, the system collapses. Not through violence, through withdrawal of consent. It's not that hard. Now, what happens when 10 million Americans refuse to pay taxes funding genocide? 50 million voters primary every IPAC representative. 100 million citizens ignore H.R. 6090 and criticize Israel anyway. They can't arrest everyone. They can't fire everyone. They can't exile everyone. The entire con requires us to police ourselves. Stop. Just stop. Stop being afraid of words. Stop preemptively surrendering. Stop complying with tyranny because it's easier than resistance. Our founding fathers didn't. They faced death. We only face discomfort. If they can't handle discomfort to preserve their legacy, we don't deserve it. Now, on this 250th anniversary, I make this vow, and so should you. I will not be silent. Not about IPAC, not about Israel, not about Somaliland, not about Venezuela, not about captured government, the shredded constitution, the planned subjugation of my children and grandchildren. I will not comply with H.R. 6090. Criticizing Israeli policy is not discrimination. Opposing Zionism is not anti-Semitism. Defending Palestinians is not hate. Arrest me if you must. I will not be silenced. For I am a true American. I am a patriot. I will not accept Vance in 2028. Not with Thiel's money, not with IPAC's blessing, not with Palantir's surveillance. The Republic ends if that happens. I will not allow it without resistance. I will not forgive those who stood silent. And when the history of this moment is written, when our grandchildren ask what we did, I will tell them, I stood. Not because I was brave, but because I refused to be a coward. Not because I had answers, because I asked questions they wanted buried. Not because I was certain of success, because I was certain of what happens if we fail. Now, our founding fathers closed the Declaration with this. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the prosecution of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Lives, fortunes, sacred honor. They gave everything. What will we give? A retweet? A donation? A vote every 2 years? That's not enough. Not anymore. This is 1776 all over again. Not metaphorically, actually. A foreign power controls our government. Our constitution is void. Our people are afraid to speak, and our future is servitude. The difference? In 1776, they had to fight the empire. In 2026, we just have to stop funding it. Cut the money to Israel. Stop the IPAC bribes. Enforce existing FARA laws. Restore the Constitution. That's it. No revolution needed. No violence required. Just follow our own laws and stop being afraid. If we can't do that, if we're too scared, too comfortable, too pacified, then we deserve what comes next. But our children, they don't. The founding fathers didn't die so we could surrender to foreign control because we are afraid of Twitter mobs or X mobs. They died so we could be free. Honor them. Stand. All sources can be found at mordoAI, mordo.ai. And also, you can use the secure whistleblower portal there if you have something to share, and it'll be on your terms. And lastly, I must say that thank you, Mr. Carey, for letting me use your face, but be sure to share the video and like if you are a true patriot, if you're an American, if you support our freedom, our grandchildren's freedom, and our children's freedom. Don't make the founding fathers roll over in their graves. It's time to stand.